Apple, actually, one of your biggest holdings, you have been cutting that a little bit across some of your funds. Warren Buffett doing the same thing. How have you interpreted, for example, a company such as Apple's results and ultimately the growth trajectory of a business like that?
Look, Apple is a consumer utility. And one of the things about Apple has been that they have been slower in adopting this AI cycle. Now, the hope is that at some point they will catch up and they will be a fast follower, which we strongly believe that they will. But in the near term, there are other companies that are more immediately investing in and procuring AI-type revenues that is propelling growth.
Okay, let's talk through some of those names. I mean, we've heard from Alphabet, from Amazon, from Meta, all of them, the CapEx spend they're making. Are they building the reward in return for that investment from your perspective?
Absolutely. It's the number one thing that we have been looking at through this earnings season has been CapEx and how these companies are spending their CapEx. We wholeheartedly expected them to have a big CapEx number through 2024, and they're even talking about 2025. And this to us is the leading indicator of what's to come in AI, because they wouldn't be building this CapEx unless they saw the demand trends. I would remind you that during earnings season, both Microsoft and Amazon talked about how they were limited on capacity of GPUs. So this again, I mean, people keep asking, like, where is the application? Someone is using those GPUs. They're all used up already, the hundreds of millions that have already been spent.
And of course, where benefits from the desire for GPUs, it's got to be Nvidia, right? I mean, is that the number one play for you? Have you been looking at, well, AMD, or indeed looking at the design element with ARM?
Yeah, so I think a lot of boats are going to rise over the next decade, and a lot of boats are rising now. So will it be a winner-take-all market? It's not going to be a winner-take-all market. There will be many different winners. Nvidia is going to be the winner-take-most, however, and we are really excited about what Nvidia is doing in terms of not only software development, but how they're changing the network in order to make data centers more efficient. So they're reaching out beyond just chips into the enterprise networking and software as well. So that sets up a really great moat for them and makes us very bullish on Nvidia.
I mean, it's one of your number one holdings across some of your largest funds. I note that you've also been starting new funds, and ETF in particular, trying to execute on this AI theme. Can you talk us through some of the names that perhaps might not automatically consider the AI play that you've been adding to?
Yeah, so, there's two companies in the industrial space, Vertiv and Quanta Services, both of which are, they used to be relatively slow growth companies, but are now levered to the AI play. Vertiv makes cooling systems for data centers, and Quanta, I joke that these are ditch diggers or they're pole climbers, because they effectively distribute or make the transmission for electricity. Both of these things are going to have radically changing competitive dynamics, in that, for example, for Quanta, we don't have enough electricity. So we expect to see utility CapEx start to rise incrementally over the next 5 to 7 years, all of which will service the people that implement the transmission lines. For Vertiv, you have a very changing dynamic on the cooling aspect of the data center, and Vertiv ends up being the net winner.
Ankur, that's really interesting, because we're hearing again and again that this is a worry, for example, of Sam Altman been going around the Middle East in particular, worrying that the key anxiety, the key bottlenecks here are energy and indeed access to GPU. That's why there's been so much reporting of the fact that he's trying to build up other chip makers. Ankur, how have you been thinking about ultimately that actually being the key bottleneck? Do you agree that energy is going to be the real issue here, limiting factor?
I think that technology is pretty amazing in that as you look forward, I mean, as we stand today, is energy going to be a bottleneck? It is. However, as you move forward 2, 3, and 4 years, the energy efficiency efforts that are occurring not only at the chip level, but at the data center level are quite significant. And we think that the technology on cooling and electricity will keep up and not hamper the growth of the industry. So, for example, if you look at the performance per watt of the B100, which is Nvidia's newest chip. It's actually significantly more efficient than the older generations. And so as you move through time, I do believe that on a performance per watt basis, you end up getting more efficiency than is currently baked in by the market.
Where is the market getting too exuberant? Do you believe any view that the hype has made market capitalizations unsustainable in certain names?
I don't think the market is exuberant right now, and everyone always asks, like, are we in a bubble? Are we in an AI bubble? And I would say it's much too early. This is very much like, it's revolutionary in terms of what is about to happen. So, I was just looking at the valuations across the Mag 7 this morning. You look at Meta. Meta currently trades at a 10% discount to the market on our 2025 earnings. Actually, it might be a 15% discount now that it's pulled back so much. That, to me, for a company that is going to change the way that we interact as consumers with AI and how businesses interact with consumers, is not an egregious multiple. You can go down the list with Amazon. Amazon doesn't trade at that egregious a multiple to the market, especially as they're showing leverage. You look at Microsoft. Microsoft, again, if you look at 2026 numbers, it trades at a 5% free cash flow yield. So to me, these aren't really set up as bubble-esque type valuations, and we're not terribly exuberant, especially after this pullback.